Open-world games are really amazing and brilliant. They give players the opportunity to control the story of the game and feel more in control. Among the most diverse in this regard are the games in the Elder Scrolls series, particularly Skyrim. The game comes with countless choices that a player can make, each of which influences the game's outcome one way or another. Among these choices is the choice to join factions or choose between them. But which ones are right for you? Let's take a look at them. The Dragonborn can join one of the numerous groups in Skyrim, each of which has a series of unique side quests. Side quests are typically relegated by a higher-up or prominent officials of the faction once the Dragonborn has joined. With the exception of the Dark Brotherhood and the Blades, each group has its own guild hall or headquarters that remains constant throughout the tale. Each group has its own leader, like the College of Winterhold's Archmage Savos Aaron, the Grandmaster of the Blades Delphine, and the Greybeard's Parthenax. Now, there can be a lot of debate about which factions have what perks, but generally, suggesting a faction for you to join in Skyrim is going to be more about my personal preference and liking. Nevertheless, the first faction I would suggest you join is the Companions. The Companions may be traced back to the fabled army of Ysgrimmor's 500 companions who were raised to fight the Frost Elves and revenge the Night of Tears. However, a few centuries after Ysgrimmor's passing, they turned into mercenaries. However, the Dragonborn can join this faction and bring honor back to the Companions through a series of quests, progressing to the highest rank within the faction, the Harbinger. Of course, there are a number of perks that the Dragonborn gets after joining the Companions. You get access to trainers who really help if you want to improve your warrior skills, things like archery and two-handed weapons. You also get a two-handed axe called Wuthrad that was used by Ysgrimmor himself. It is impressive with a base damage of 25, and it also does 1.2x damage to all the Mer races. The Companions also have a very strong clan culture and will instantly jump to the Dragonborn's defense, even against guards in Whiterun. But the coolest thing is their storyline. There are plenty of smaller side quests for this faction, and they are the ones that introduce werewolves into the gameplay. Next up are the Dawnguards, if you have the Dawnguard DLC installed. Long story short, the Dawnguards are a faction of ancient vampire hunters whose primary enemy is Molag Bal himself. The faction is exceptionally cool since joining them opens up an all-new story that helps the Dragonborn discover a number of new locations, including Fort Dawnguard to the north of Riften and Castle Volkihar. It also takes the Dragonborn to the Forgotten Vale to look for a cool weapon to take down the vampires, Ariel's Bow. The Dawnguard introduced the concept of vampires and vampirism in a much more practical sense to Skyrim, allowing the Dragonborn to be turned into a vampire, which eventually paves the way for them to become vampire overlord if they choose that course of action. There are plenty of cool weapons in the Dawnguard's arsenal too that the player gains access to. The most awesome of these weapons is the crossbow that is otherwise inaccessible. Of course, you also get the ability to recruit a number of followers in the form of Dawnguard members. However, you can also hire trolls for 500 septims to act as your personal bodyguards. And lastly, we have the choice that every Dragonborn is most confused about throughout the game: which side to choose during Skyrim's raging civil war. For most factions, you may either join or not. Either way, it does not affect the player's interaction with other factions in most cases. However, when it comes to the Civil War, players can choose between either the Stormcloaks or the Imperial Legion. Honestly, this choice is more political than any other you might have to make in the game. And for the most part, it depends on who you prefer, since both of them have equally solid reasoning. This choice deserves a video of its own, and personally, I prefer the Legion because of the cooler uniforms and because I disagree with the Stormcloaks for their discrimination against other races. Well, that sums it up. There are just too many factions to consider honestly, but I tried my best to give you the best ones. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you soon in the next video.